Hello friends! So today I am here to share with you all of the books I read in the month of March. I had a really good reading month, so I'm going to go ahead and just jump into the books that I read. Starting off, this was a physical book that I read, but my sister currently has it, and I think that after she finishes it, somebody else is going to borrow it. And that is The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. This was a military romance. I rated it 5 stars. This book was so emotional, just so emotional, but it was very, very good. The first ebook that I read this month was Charming Hannah by Kristen Proby, part of the Big Sky series. I rated this one 3 stars. It was good. It's just the main couple met in the past and he thought she had a boyfriend or something. He didn't go after her for some reason. He didn't approach her for some reason. And then, it flips back to the present time, and they've met officially now. She's lived in the town for a while, and they're gonna start dating. I rated this one 3 stars. I just wanted more from it. The next ebook I read was Make Me Bad by R.S. Gray. This one is one of her romantic comedies. It was very cute. What did I give this? I gave this one 4 stars. It was an R.S. Gray romantic comedy about a good girl who felt the pressure from her family to stay at home and take care of her father and take care of her brother, and she asks the bad boy to teach her how to be bad. The next ebook I read is Running into Love by Aurora Rose Reynolds. And it's not gonna. Can you see? There we go. That's a little bit better. This one was okay. I wrote down 3 stars. I feel like I should bump that down to a 2, 2.5. There was no substance to this. Literally, the main characters run into each other in the park, and then they end up as neighbors, and then they start dating, and that was the story. That was it. The next ebook I have is The Executive by Winter Renshaw. This one had a different title on Goodreads, and I really should have looked up what that was again, because I don't remember. But this one is about a girl who has had a relationship with a coworker in Los Angeles, and then that coworker, the guy, ends up getting a promotion over her, so she transfers to the Chicago office for their company, and a year later he shows up at the Chicago offices and wants to explain to her what happened. Yeah, I think I gave this one a 3.5 stars. I didn't write it down and I don't remember, but I think it was a 3.5. The last ebook before I get into physical books was Risky Play by Rachel Van Dyken. This was a cute sports romance. I gave this one 3 stars. It was good. It just, again, I wanted something more from it, and I don't know what that is, but I wanted it. So now we are to the physical books that I still have that I read this month, and the first one of those was Love and Luck by Jenna Evans Welch. This is the sequel to Love and Gelato, and this was just as cute. This is about the friend from Love and Gelato who has ended up in Ireland. I think it was for her aunt's wedding. Her aunt has this reality show or travel show or something, and she ends up having her wedding in Ireland. And the main character and her brother, who are very close but have had a falling out, are supposed to travel to Italy to meet up with a friend that moved to Italy in the first book. But they end up on a, road trip around Ireland. I don't know why I quoted it was a road trip. They end up on a road trip around Ireland with this friend that the brother has met online. And I liked that it had, legitimate online friendship as friendship. And I felt a little bit bad for the brother that the main girl and the friend kind of had a thing, but it was cute, and I kind of wish there may be more in this series. I don't even know. I haven't looked that up. If there is, let me know, because I really need to read more of Jenna Evans Welch. The next books are a trilogy that I rated individually, but the rating came from all three together as the whole story, if that makes sense. And that is the Elements of Chemistry series by Penny Reed. I have, I have part 1, Attraction, part 2, Heat, and part 3, Capture. They're just so short. Collectively, I rated them all 3 stars for the whole story. This is, in the first book, the girl is hiding in the closet of her, I think it was a chemistry lab, Elements of Chemistry. She's hiding in the closet. She overhears this plan to drug this main guy character because he's rich and this girl wants to, like, trap him into a marriage or whatever. She goes to a party, she ends up telling him, he ends up confessing that he likes her, the main girl, and, like, whisks her away for spring break to this private island that his family owns, and all this drama. They end up broken up for reasons at the end of the second book, and in the third book, he's moved to New York. I don't know if he's finished school or if he's just dropped out. I'm still a little iffy on that. But they end up meeting back up. I think it was like 8-9 months after they've broken up. They end up meeting back up. They're still in love with each other. Again, like with most things I rate 3 stars, I wanted more from it. I wanted less of the drama and more of the plot. Next I have Rhythm, Chord, and Malakin by Mariana Zapata. And, like, this is a short book for Mariana Zapata. It is so short. I think I read this in, like, 2 days, which is crazy for her books. Yeah, less than 400 pages for a Mariana Zapata book is nothing. Anyway, this one is about a girl who is kind of the, not really outcast, but, like, her family picks on her a lot because she is a 20-something who doesn't know what to do with her life when her siblings have figured it out. But her brother is part of this band who is going on a tour, and their merch guy has quit or something, and he calls her because she's done it in the past, like before they were famous. She was their merch girl. So he calls her, asks her to come. She agrees. She ends up falling for the very cute lead singer of the main band on the tour. And like with all Mariana Zapata books, it was a slow burn. They didn't really have a point where they didn't like each other, but they were literally strangers. They did not know each other. She did not know who he was. He did not know who she was. Like, it became a friendship, and then it became something more, which is what I love about these books. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. It's so good. Next I have Run Away With Me by Mila Gray. This is book 3. Well, I thought it was book 3 in the series, but it had nothing to do with the first 2 in the series. I think I liked it less because of that. I liked the military romance in the first 2. This one was more of a sports romance, but it wasn't even really a sports romance because it didn't have much to do with the sport. It was a kind of a second chance romance. The main couple had been friends when they were preteens into teenage years, and then something happened and his family moves off, and he doesn't try to reach out to her, doesn't communicate with her. Anyway, they've grown up now. He's a hockey player in college, and he's had some trouble in his life, so he goes back to the town where he grew up, and he tries to, like, reconcile with her, and there was some emotional stuff in here, and I ended up giving this one 3 stars. Again, it was good. There was just something missing. I'm gonna say that a lot in this book haul, in this wrap-up. Next I read Heartland by Kimberly Stewart. I got this one from Book Outlet because a lot of people compared it to Sweet Home Alabama, and that is basically what it was, except for it was Iowa. Not Ohio. It was Iowa. The girl left her town when she was younger because her parents had passed away, and it was just a lot of memories for her to handle. She goes to New York. She becomes a fashion designer. She misses a promotion. She goes back home. She meets the guy that she was with that she left. It was 3.5 stars. It was very good. It was basically the plot of Sweet Home Alabama. Which is not necessarily bad, because it's a great movie. And it was a good book. Next I read Misconduct by Penelope Douglas. This was such a good book. I rated it 4 stars. The main couple meet at a Mardi Gras party in New Orleans, and they kind of have, they don't really like hook up that time, but they are very into each other, and then they leave without knowing each other's names. Later that year in the fall, the main woman character is starting her first year of teaching, and she ends up having to have a parent-teacher conference with one of her students' parents, and in walks the guy that she met at the Mardi Gras parade. And this was such a good book. I loved their meeting. I loved when they, met again. And I loved that their issue, the main conflict of it, was that he needed to take care of his son. It was a legitimate reason, and I loved it. It was so good. I need to read more Penelope Douglas. I don't ever pick up her books because usually they're really dark. But I liked this one, so maybe that will convince me that I should read the darker ones. The next 2 were, again, in a series. I rated them both 4 stars, and that is Wires and Nerve and Wires and Nerve Volume 2 Gone Rogue by Marissa Meyer. This is a continuation of the Lunar Chronicle series in graphic novel form, and I loved this. It's kind of my first, delve into the graphic novel world, other than, the 1 volume of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World that I read back then and didn't like. This follows Iko, who has been living on the moon with Cinder, and is sent back to Earth to track down all of the wolf hybrids that have somehow still stayed on Earth instead of coming back to Luna. And this was so good. It was so good. If you like the Lunar Chronicle series, you really, really, really should read the Wires and Nerve series. I kind of wish there was more than 2, but it wrapped it up nicely, and you get to see all the people from the Lunar Chronicles, and it was so good. Next I read Sweet Little Lies by Jill Shalvis. This is a Book Bonanza author, so I picked it up on Book Outlet. This is about a girl who, she has to move into this new apartment, and there's kind of a community already built up at this apartment, and she meets the pub owner, and he was adorable, and there's this thing in the past that it would spoil it if I said it, but it was so cute. It was a little bit emotional, not as emotional as it could have been, but it was still really good. I gave this 4 stars. The next book I read was part of the monthly read-along thing. I don't know what it's called. I am part of Chelsea Palmer's Facebook page, the Facebook group, The Page Turners, and every month we do a monthly read-along where we pick a book and then read it during the 1 week. And for the month of March, it was The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutkoski. I did not enjoy this. I did not enjoy the plot. I did not enjoy the world building because there wasn't barely any. I did not enjoy the romance because that was just effed up. It was just effed up. It wasn't cute. It wasn't, no. Just no. She bought him as a slave, and then they had a mutiny, not a mutiny. An uprising. They had an uprising where the slaves take over, and then he's like, oh no, she's my slave now. That's not cute. I gave this one a 1 star. I really did not like it. After that, I needed to get back to myself. So I started Lady of Light and Shadows, book 2 in the Terran Soul series. This was so good. 4 stars. I liked this one because you got a little bit more. It wasn't so much, not really info dumping, but you got more plot in this one. And I'm so excited because book 3, they're finally going back to the Fading Lands. and I can't wait to see what happens. On another kind of sour note, I read Sin and Suffer by Pepper Winters, book 2 in the Pure Corruption MC. This is about how long the first book was, and then this is the second book, and there's no reason for it to be this long. She could have gotten this story done in one book. I think it would have actually been very nice had it been one book about this length, but there was enough plot that she didn't need the drama of, he's not telling me something, I'm gonna make him tell me, and then go to confront the main guy and he's just like, I'm gonna kiss her and she'll forget about it. And that's exactly what happened. That's stupid. That is so stupid. It's not productive. It's drama, and it's unnecessary. And I gave this one 2 stars. I think I gave the first one 3 stars. I will not be keeping these. If my sister wants to finish it, she has the first one now. If she wants to finish it, she can read this one, and then I will probably unhaul these, because I'm never going to reread it because it was unnecessary. Back to a happier note, I read Kissing Tolstoy by Penny Reed. I gave this one 4 stars. This was very good. It was so short, and I wish it had been longer. But this is about a girl who is trying to be set up on a blind date by her friend. So she emails the guy that her friend wants to set her up with. The guy that shows up is not the guy that she was told was coming because she typed in the email wrong. And then she basically gets so scared of her attraction to him that she runs away. And I think that was at Valentine's Day. And she's decided to not take her summer off from school. She's going to take a Russian lit class during the summer semester. And the professor ends up being the guy that she went out on a date with. And she tries to drop the class, but he won't let her. And this was just cute. There was a little bit too much of the, how do you say it? Like, I'm so smart, I can make all these references. But I didn't mind it. I minded it a little bit, but not as much as I probably should have, but it was so good. 4 stars. I think I counted 21 books for March, but I only hit 1 space on the Romanceopoly board, and that is the Downtown Head to a Concert space, Read a Rockstar Romance, which I counted Rhythm Chord and Malakin for. But that was it for Romanceopoly. I did not do very good this month. Thankfully, next month is going to have the Romanceopoly-a-thon. My TBR is up already. Hopefully I can catch up during April. So those are the books I read in March. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!